Hello, everybody. I'm Hunter Gasway, covering here at Fantastic Fest. I'm with Mark and Oren, the producers of Saw X and the entire Saw franchise. Gentlemen, you've had 10 of these movies. Congrats on the 10th. How does it feel to be with a franchise for such a long period of time?
It actually doesn't feel that long. It's funny. We've started a chat with James Wan and Lee Wanell, our original guys, and all the different people who have been involved in trading stories. Got the first call sheet out, but it doesn't really feel like 20 years.
You remember, we may not remember all the stuff in between, but we remember day one of greenlighting the movie, meeting James and Lee, loving the short, loving the first script, going, all righty, let's go do this. This is awesome.
Yeah, something I think is so cool about this newest entry, Saw X, is we take it back to the beginning a little bit. We bring back John Kramer, and it's mostly his story. Can you tell me about deciding that that was the story you wanted to tell for Saw X?
We'd been working on the script for a while. We kind of got sidetracked, and we did the Chris Rock movie, The Spiral, and then came back to this. But for us, it's really important to see how this all began. And we really wanted John Kramer to, I think he's in the first 25 minutes as John Kramer before he kind of becomes Jigsaw. And we really wanted to show, A, Tobin as an actor, and B, people understanding how he got from A to B.
It just felt like we wanted more Tobin in a movie. We wanted more Shawnee Smith in a movie. Tobin died in Saw 3, so the only way we could keep him going forward was in, small flashbacks. And we just decided that we're going to go back in time. And the audience wanted, we don't do research screenings of our films, so we did a brand study last year, and everybody came back saying, Saw is Tobin Bell, Saw is Shawnee Smith, we went back, and with the writers, we came up with a story that takes place between Saw 1 and 2.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I think the film wouldn't work as well without Shawnee Smith as well, so was that always the plan, to have her in it with John Kramer?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was, in the movie, in our timeline, it's about 3 weeks after Saw 1 ends, he closed the door, game over. And 3 weeks later, she's still kind of raw and new and figuring out her place in life. And that's John Kramer's obviously sick, as we see through Saw 1. We see him meet a doctor early on, and he decides to go try to extend his life.
I think another thing that really sells this whole film is the way it's shot. You're shooting it to have that same look as the early Saw films, through the coloring and through the shot choices and the editing. Can you tell me a little bit about deciding that process?
David Armstrong was our cinematographer of the first, 6 movies, I think. And we needed somebody that spoke Spanish. We needed somebody that had worked in Mexico once we decided to film there. So Nick Matthews was just awesome, and his goal was to make it look and feel as if it was Saw 1, Saw 2. Those were shot on film. This was shot digitally, but what he just made it look, feel, smell like the early Saw movies, which he had to do, and he pulled it off.
Well, I think you definitely succeed in making it feel like those early Saw movies, which is something I really loved about the film. Something else I really liked about it was this kind of anti-big pharma tint that's added to the movie, and I think that adds like a really fun element with this European doctor, even though it's set in this Mexican setting. Can you talk a little bit about that choice?
Well, it's kind of a miracle that Mark and I actually can get insurance, because
because after this movie we may not be able to.
Because of in Saw 6 we kind of explore this a little bit. In Saw 6, he's trying to get his insurance company to pay for this experimental treatment, and it's in the flashbacks, and they're saying no. So for us, it's kind of obvious what's going on right now in the zeitgeist in the world, and
We actually had the scene from Saw 6 originally in this movie, but ultimately decided with the running time of the movie we didn't need it. The audience kind of got what we were going for without having that as a flashback.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so I think that's what's so fun, is we're mixing the drama of the cancer storyline with the classic Saw traps that we know and love. I have to ask, which was your favorite of the new Saw traps for Saw X?
The new traps, for me, it was the bloodboarding. I just think the bloodboarding, and especially not just the trap, but also having Tobin Bell in a trap.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The bloodboarding was awesome, but so was cutting the woman's leg off. That was, and the the prosthetics company in Los Angeles, Fractured, that did those parts, were freaking awesome. I mean, they crushed it. It looks believable. It looks real. You see her leg fall off, and then you see the head kind of. It works. They're great. Kevin shot it. Nick shot it in a way that just was riveting to watch.
Well, the leg cut off especially had my theater swarming last night. So can you talk a little bit about premiering it at Fantastic Fest and how fun it was to watch the crowd react and squirm?
That was a lot of fun. What wasn't fun is dealing with the MPA, who of course has a really important job in films. But we made it through 4 or 5 different issues, and it literally came down to just the leg. And
frames of the leg, like how many we could shot, and Oren dealt with the MPA,
and skin pulling, and
take off 2 frames, take off 2 more frames. I mean, it was.
They've been great though. I mean, we've I think all 10 films we've done started out as NC-17. Wow. So it's just like, okay.
Yeah. Until something we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. But they've been great, and they, you know what? After the years, they know that we're respectful to them, and we listen and we don't try to sneak around them. We do what they ask us to do. But it was pretty wild seeing it in front of an audience yesterday and see, because you think, even like a little tiny bit of humor maybe and different things we hope they land, and we don't ever do test screenings of our movies. So for us, last night and this next week are our test screenings.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is maybe the funniest of the Saw films. As I was watching it last night, there were quite a few. Don't tell Chris Rock. But there were quite a few moments. My personal favorite was when John Kramer was doodling his trap sketches in the park. Did you have a favorite joke from the film or a favorite comedic beat?
For me, there was a couple times that Shawnee Smith, Amanda, says some things in a deadpan. I just when she was interacting with the girl getting her leg cut off, and there was a couple things you might want to listen, and there was just.
Yeah.
And I like Tobin Bell telling the janitor when he leaves. Good choice.
That was great.
That was a little ad-libbed line that Tobin threw in.
Yeah. No, I love that we got to see Tobin Bell really stretch his acting chops. He's comedic and he's dramatic in this film and scary all at the same time. What was that like, showing all the levels of him?
It was just great to watch Tobin. He's just that good an actor that, he embodies this role. He becomes Jigsaw. He becomes John Kramer. And I don't think there's anything he can't do.
Yeah. It was something we knew, and we wanted everyone to see how well he could do that role.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for your time today. Thank you for the film. My final question is, I'm a student here at University of Texas, and so is Nolan. What advice do you have for student filmmakers and people who want to go into being creatives?
I have 2. Don't listen when people criticize your stuff. And number 2, go make a film. Go shoot it on your iPhone. Go tell a story. If you can tell a story, you'll be in great shape.
Tell a story. If it's a comedy, make people laugh. If it's a horror movie, tell a good story and scare people. But shoot it on a phone, shoot it on whatever you have, just do it. And as I told you, there's a lot, I'm sure there are plenty of jobs here. There's more in Los Angeles. Just get your foot in the door somewhere. If you're a student, get your foot in the door, work as a temp, work as an assistant, work your way up, and the cream always rises to the top.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Hunter.
Absolutely. Thank you. Awesome.